All right, now let's get into the fun stuff and what really gets you into the digital red zone. Basic SEO, that's what we're going to go over, and I want to make sure you understand this is basic. And it might be a lot, but it's still basic. And for every one of these strategies, there is some more advanced techniques you can use, which we do with our red zone packages. SEO, you can max out the budget on this quickly. The basic SEO for many small businesses is good enough. If it becomes a more competitive niche, then we've got to add a little budget to beat the competition. So let's get into it. All right, so search engine optimization. Obviously, we already talked about it in the web design. We designed the website to be coded properly with the proper content so that the search engines will refer it, thus gaining you calls and contact forms and customers. It's crucial for your visibility on the search engines, and you're going to get traffic from people who never heard of you or forgotten about you when they Google what it is you do or sell. Whatever the problem is, they go to Google and look for an answer, whether they got a tree that needs trimmed or heating an air unit that needs fixed. Whatever the problem is, we want you to come up as a solution, thus gaining their click to your website, getting a call or a contact form. It is the most bang for the buck in digital marketing. Your ROI here is greater than any other place, yet most people spend the least amount of money on it because they don't understand it. And I understand why they don't understand it, because you can't learn this in school. I get asked all the time, where did I learn it? I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars finding people who knew more than I did till I reached a point where I couldn't find anyone. Most of the time I didn't learn anything. But I don't know why they don't. Well, I do know why they don't teach this in school. Google doesn't want you to know how to do this. And what we're going to talk about today is basically what they call white hat SEO. These are practices that fall within the guidelines of Google's terms of service. There are things you can do that are outside that is called black hat SEO. And we don't engage in it. We know it, but we don't engage in it because more often than not it harms the website in the long term. There are quick fixes for SEO. There are quick ways to get it ranked, and the quick ways will hurt you over the long term. So we're looking for a long-term optimization strategy to keep you ranked. Yes, you will lose rankings, but we will then tweak it to gain them back as the algorithms change, and they change monthly. Heck, they change daily. So let's get into basically what the basics are SEO. Well, first off, it's keyword research. We want to identify the keywords people are using when they are trying to acquire your service or product, and we want to show up for those. So then we have to create content around those keywords to put on your website so that you have pages that are targeting those words, and thus will generate the traffic from people using them. To do this, we use something called title tags. It is an HTML code. There's an H1 through infinity probably, but generally it's H1 through H4. If these are not coded correctly, then the search engine gets confused. The title tags tell the search engine out, the crawlers that crawl your website, what the topics are discussed on the page, and it should be in an outline format with the most important thing in the H1, the supporting thing H2, next supporting thing H3, and so on. Meta descriptions are generally what you see in the search engines. When you search for something, you'll see a description. Nowadays, the algorithm kind of picks whatever it wants that it feels is best on the page, and we'll ignore the meta descriptions many times. But we still put in all the old stuff. It used to be about keywords. Do we still use keywords? We do our keyword research to generate the content, but as far as just putting keywords on a page, no. We still do it, but it's not important anymore, according to most. We just do it because we've grown up with this algorithm and know all the things that it used to like, all the way to what it likes now. And we want to give it everything it likes, just in case an engineer opens up a loophole and it factors one of those old algorithm factors more heavily, all of a sudden you're going to gain an advantage. So we want to have them in there. Again, your heading, H1, H2, H3, discuss. URL structure, we want to structure URLs to describe basically what the keyword on the page is about. Internal linking. This is linking from page to page within the website so that the crawler, when it comes to your website, can easily navigate everything and does it in a logical fashion, so that if it goes to a page about ball, it sees a link about basketballs, it goes to the basketball page and then sees a link about on the basketball page what the information about what you do with the basketball, interlinking to why it's different. So say you say how is a basketball different than a football, and you have a football page, you'll link from the football to the football page. Yes, it's very, very confusing, very tedious, but it has to be done. So we want high quality content. We want it to be unique. We use programs to determine that make sure that the content that we are putting on pages doesn't plagiarize and is at least 51% or more unique to what else is out there on the internet, which gets harder and harder every day as more people publish content about the same stuff. There's only so many ways you can describe fixing a sink, but yet to date we're still doing it, and the uniqueness is part of the algorithms. One of the things it wants to see when it's looking for new content. So we want it to be readable, and there are different readable levels. You can create content with a readable level of high school education, college, all the way up to, as technical as you want to get. So we want to fall within the proper readable level of the content so that a wider range of people will be able to digest content and understand it. Obviously, mobile optimization, that goes without saying. 99% of your traffic is going to come through mobile phones. I barely even care about what a desktop looks, the website on the desktop versus the mobile. The mobile is more important from a conversion standpoint. Page speed. If it don't load fast, it won't show up. It could have everything perfectly correct. It could be the greatest website on planet Earth. If it loads slowly based on your coding, based on your hosting, it will not show up, because time is money to Google too. And this goes for Bing. We also optimize for, most of this is Google centric, but we also focus on Bing now that more and more people are using it. Yes, there are other search engines, DuckDuckGo, Yahoo. What people don't know is that many of the other search engines are using a derivative of Google to begin with. So focusing on Google will get you optimized in all of them. Backlink building. This is very dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, you need. I'll tell you some places. If you're doing it yourself, you can get some backlinks. Are great from your Google listing, your Facebook page, your Pinterest, all the social media sites. Your citation sites, your yellow pages, things of that nature. Great backlinks are if you are sponsoring a football team and they have a website, your local Little League team, get them to link back to your website off that. That shows that you are in that area, you are a member of the community, and it adds authority to your website. Also on industry niche sites, if you can go to Quora and answer questions on your niche, throw in a link back to your site. But be careful when doing link building. Do it slowly. The link is only good if people actually use it to come to the site. So just having a link somewhere on its own over time has minimal help. You could have a great link on somewhere on the New York Times that nobody visits, and the link over time will be worthless because nobody's used it. Think of links as doorways to somewhere. If somebody's not coming through it, it's a bad door. Again, avoid black hat, purchasing links through Fiverr. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can penalize your website, and it is terribly expensive to get all that fixed. So don't do it. We handle all this obviously for our clients, but I want to give both sides of the story with the SEO if you're doing it yourself. Image optimization. You want to have fast loading compressed images so your page load speed doesn't suffer You want to use file names for the image describing what the image is about. You want to use alt text, which is in most of your website builders, some of them don't have it, honestly, but alt text is basically best used for screen readers, for the visually impaired. It will tell them what the image is about. You want to describe what the image is about. Obviously, the alt text goes into, you want to have the secure, accessible website. That's becoming more and more important. We'll be focusing on that more probably in the future. Whenever we get the actual laws written, it's been, my God, maybe 10 years, and they still haven't gotten the rules together. But accessibility has to do with whether for screen readers, for visually impaired, all the way to, obviously deaf, for people who have epilepsy. You don't want to have flashy things on the screen, things of that nature. You want to make sure it's easily usable for everybody. Schema is code in the backside of the site that helps the new algorithms understand what the site is about. JSON LD is what it is called, and you can Google schema language and learn it, or you can use a plugin. Some plugins are good, most of them are not. We write our own schema for our sites because we understand it and know what entities and what things to tell the crawler about the page and connect them together so that it creates a greater sense of expertise and authority. And that's EEAT. You can Google that and it'll show you what Google's looking for on your pages. And we want to ensure that we have all that in there. Local SEO, if you're a local business, this is very important. We want to have location landing pages for the areas you serve, create service areas, page connecting all of those. We want to have a Google Maps listing, and we manage those for our clients as well and optimize them for the Maps algorithm. You'll see in the next video where we do the data tracking, the different algorithms that we do track to make sure that you show up. We want to make sure in our location, this is another video, location data, it gets skewed somehow all the time. And so we want to make sure that we've got your business name. And if you're doing this yourself and you've just got your Google business and your website and your Facebook, A, that's not enough. But B, make sure that the business name is the same everywhere it's listed. Make sure the address is the same everywhere it's listed. Make sure the phone number is the same as everywhere it's listed. When it sees differences in those things, it does not trust you and it hurts your overall performance. Social signals do have an impact. Small, but do have an impact. It does want to see that people do like your social pages and there is activity there. We use our social signals to syndicate content so that the crawler, say for instance we post something to your Twitter page, I'm not going to see it, I don't ever get on Twitter, but we know that when we post things to your Maps listing, your Twitter page, Facebook somewhat, that it shows up in there on their website, and the crawlers come right to it, jump through the door back to your website to redigest your website. And we want to have a strong crawl budget, which means that the crawlers are coming to your website often to find new content, because it keeps your website in their eyes fresh and cool and new and informative, and they will refer it more. And we'll get into more of this again in the data tracking, but you got to monitor it. And you'll see in the data track, we use multiple tools to track your rankings for search engine optimization. See where your website's showing up. And it's not just Google, it's YouTube, it's Bing. Sometimes we might even look at Yahoo, not so much anymore. Very few people use it. But in the data tracking, where we see where traffic is coming from, we'll focus on that, obviously. Because if traffic's coming from somewhere, we want to optimize those areas so that we increase the traffic and make sure we're getting the people we want through there so that we can, sell more of your products and services, generating you a greater return on investment. SEO is not a quick thing. It can be. If you've got an old website and it's just not ranking, we redesign it many times. Within 60 days, you're on the first page and things are rocking. And that's with just this basic SEO. We don't have to go into the advanced stuff. Sometimes we do in more competitive niches, but think of it as a long-term strategy that needs to be managed continuously. Anything you buy in the search engine optimization sphere or industry, anything you buy that says instant rankings or just give us this information, if they're not touching your website, they're not doing it. You're just paying them money. If they say they're indexing you into Google, they're not. Unfortunately, there are a lot of scams, and scams usually arise in areas where people have little information or knowledge of a topic, so they're easy to sell. And unfortunately, that is true in this area. We fundamentally manage our clients' SEO to make sure that their rankings stay strong and fix things when they fall. Now, if we have a limited budget to do so, we got limited options. So we try to maximize the rankings and what we can do with what we have. There are instances where things get more competitive where we got to increase the budget because there are things we need to buy to get you ranked higher, and it is what it is. So search engine optimization, not easy, very time consuming, very tedious, very hard to learn, and is an absolute must for your business. So without SEO, there's no way you can get in the digital red zone.